We continue with idea development. Today we're going into design thinking. Design is all about coming up with a creative and innovative. I said whenever I'm talking, you don't write. I told you as soon as I'm done explaining, you will start writing, then I will go downstairs to get whatever I need to get. Going down. So we're still on business idea. Today we want to go into design thinking. And when we talk about design thinking, design is about developing a product. That's what design thinking is about. So when it comes to design thinking, it simply means you are using a creative and innovative idea to develop a product or service. Do you get what design thinking is about here? Innovative and creative idea to develop a product or service. Design thinking, it focuses on understanding user needs to develop innovative products and services. So when it comes to thinking, so you want to understand what users are the customers. Users are what? Users are what? Customers. You want to develop a product to meet their needs. And that's why we call it design thinking. Does it make sense to you or not, this? Great. So what are the design thinking process? We have iterative, solution-centered, and person-centered. So these are the three things you put into consideration when you are using design thinking. For iterative, it involves repeating steps by continuously improving to improve the solution. So you have think about what to produce. In the course of thinking about what to produce, you continuously work on it until you get a perfect result on it. So it is not yet what we want to get. You continuously work on it to improve it until you are satisfied. You know, there's going to be a stage you get to in the course of producing something. You feel, okay, this is what I really wanted. So you've initiated the design, but as soon as you feel fulfilled that, this is the kind of design I want, and that is when you stop. So that's why I said it involves repeating steps to continuously improve solution. Solution is about this. The problem is about what you want to design. Now you know what to design. How are you going to improve on it? So you continuously improve on it to give you a nice or outstanding solution. That is iterative. Do you get iterative or not? You repeat the same process. You repeat it until you have an outstanding result or outcome. Does it make sense or not? The second one is solution-centered, which focuses on finding effective and innovative solutions to specific customer needs. It's always going to be, everything has to end with the customers. Whatever we produce, whatever we think about production, it's going to end with what? The customers. So we continuously try to focus on how to solve customers' problem. Because it is only when we are able to solve their problem that they're going to buy from us. So you have to think about what customers will need. And that is their problem. So as soon as you think about what they can buy, what they need, then you produce it and they buy it. So the next stage about design thinking or processes, solutions centered. So you focus on finding solutions to problems of users. Because when you continuously find solutions to problems of users, they will get emotionally attached to you. They will always patronize you. And that is the only time you will be able to retain them. But if you don't find solutions to customers' problems, they will go elsewhere. Do we get it or not?
Yes.
Customers need solution. And that's why they come to us as businesses. So as soon as they come and they figure out that we cannot solve their problem, they move elsewhere. So part of your design thinking process should be solution-centered. You should be a solution to your customer's problem. Because that is the only way they always run to you whenever they have a problem. Do you understand solution-centered? Then the person-centered. Prioritize the needs, experience, and the perspective of customers throughout the design process. Customers are king. Make them the priority. Prioritize their needs, their experience, their perspectives. Because customers are going to give you feedback about whatever they have used in your product or service. So whatever they tell you, prioritize it. Make amendments. Give them a proper solution. Because that is the only way they will stay with you. That will bring about customer loyalty. What do I call it? What do I call it? Customer loyalty. What do I call it? Customer loyalty. This is the only time customers will come back to buy from you. But when they have when they have an experience that is not favorable the first time, they won't come back the next time. They only want to come back if the experience is positive. A negative experience takes them away from you. So your design thinking process should be interactive, it should be solution-centered, and it should be person-centered. So these are the only ways you can remain relevant in the business and gives you a competitive advantage over your competitors. Does it make sense or not? Yes. So here it's about putting into consideration the perspective, the experience of customers throughout your thinking process. And that means whatever you do, it's all about the customers, because they are the what? Do we understand? Any question about that?
No.
So that takes us to phases of design thinking. So for the phases of design thinking, we are simply talking about the stages we go through when we start designing, when we start thinking about design. The first one is clarify. This phase involves understanding and defining the problem without bias. So you should be what? Objective here. What do I call it? You should be objective. Produce a product, not because you like the product, but because customers deserve the product. So it's all about, it comes down to customers. Not your brother, not your sister, not your dad or mom. It's about who? The customers. So you should be what? Objective. You shouldn't be biased. During your clarity, you should have clarity. You should know what you want to do. Don't be subjective to whatever you want to produce. Be objective towards it. Because being objective means you are not biased. You are producing based on the needs of your users. Do you understand clarify here? So this can be done through gathering data. How do you gather data? You make a research. What do I call it? A research. That's how you gather information. Yes or no? When you gather information, it simply means you are... When you gather information, it simply means what? You are putting into consideration customers' information. You are putting into consideration customers. So when you gather information, it means you are able to get the facts and the figures about customers. That's about clarity. 2, identifying recurring themes. What are those problems that they continue to talk about? Has it changed over time or not? If it continues to be the same thing that they talk about over time, it means this thing has to be solved. Get the second point here, please. Recurring themes. It means, customer A, customer B, customer C, and D, they continue to talk about 2, 2, 2, 2. So that means 2 is a problem that we have to solve 2. Does it make sense, please? The third one, formulating a problem statement. So there's a problem. You have to think about the problem. As soon as you are thinking about the problem, write a statement about the solution. To solve 2, we have to put 1 and 1 together to solve 2. So as you are saying it, thinking about it, you write it down. Because it is about brainstorming. There's a problem that you need to solve. To solve this problem, whatever you have started thinking about, you start writing them down, because that is the solution. Is it making sense, please? Framing the challenge. Why do you have to frame the challenge? To reduce it, so that it can encourage critical thinking. You have to put it in a frame. Because if you don't frame it, it will be so wide, how do we solve this problem? Put it in a frame to cover it, so that we can have a critical way of thinking about the problem. That is about clarifying. And for clarifying, it means you are what? Objective as a business, as a thinker. You are better focused here. The next one is ideate. For ideation, it simply means you are creating a process where designers brainstorm ideas to address a problem statement. We talked about the problem statement here. A problem statement is a written information to solve the problem. So you can't just solve the problem alone, because it's a problem for the market. Customer's problem. You can't alone solve it. You need people to sit together with, yes or no? Because it's about idea. So that means we need brainstorming. You need people with critical thinking ability, know-how. You put them together to solve the problem. So the second one is about ideate. You come up with different ideas. You group people, you brainstorm to find solution to the problem. Do you understand the second one?
Yes.
The third one is developing. This involves refining concepts by testing various solutions. Here, it involves bring in a prototype. What do I call it? Prototype. The kind of product we are producing. Oh, let's do a prototype of it to test in the market. Both of you, I'm going to deduct your marks, 10 marks out. I'm serious about it. Yeah, don't worry about it anymore. So what I'm saying here is, you just came in and you start disturbing. For developing, it's a market, but we can't just put the product out there in the market. We need to develop a prototype to test the market. We call it market testing or test marketing. Test market. Here, you gather a group of people in a closed environment to use the product to get the feedback from them. You don't just launch the product, because if you do launch the product immediately, you might not sell. But let some group of people use it to get the feedback from them. Do you get developed here?
Yes.
You develop a prototype which should be tested in the market to get a feedback. Implementation. The solutions is tested, iterated, and refined based on real users' feedback. Because there's a prototype here, you've given it to a certain group of people, they've used it. They're giving you a feedback. If it is positive, then you can launch it. That is when you implement. Implementation means finally producing the product based on what? The feedback of the users. Production is not complete. Production is not complete until it gets to the final user. So whatever we have here, this marker is being produced, wherever it's being produced, if it's still there, it is not production. But because I'm using it in the class right now, that is production, because I can give my feedback about the marker. So do we now understand how phases of design thinking is about? You clarify, you should be objective. Yes. Ideate, right? Ideate is all about brainstorming, creating ideas that will solve the problem. There's a problem, right? You have clarity about the problem here. The users, customers, this is what they want, that's what they want. You're able to do that by gathering information, research. You identify the recurring themes. What are they saying that is the same? Oh, 7 or 8 customers are saying the problem is 2. So that means we have to solve 2. How do we solve 2? Yeah, money. That's it. So as soon as this is done, because you already know what the problem is, the next thing is to find solution, yes or no? Yeah. Because of finding solution, you brainstorm, because it's all about idea development, design thinking. You cannot alone think. You need people to think with. So that is why in this stage, there's going to be what? Brainstorming. Brainstorming means you come up, you have different skills, I have different skills, everybody has different skills and knowledge. We're going to put it together to find solution to the problem. That is ideate. The first one is clarity, there's a problem which has to be solved based on information we gathered. The next stage is, now that this is a problem, how do we solve this problem? Brainstorming. After this stage, now that we solve the problem, we develop it by design, by finding a product. You don't just take the product out there to sell. The first thing is you create what? A prototype. The kind of the product. Test it in the market. If you have a positive feedback, then launch the product. That's the end of your design thinking. Do I answer your question now? Any question, please?
No,
thank you.